Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Tina Pedersen. I am the lead interface and user experience designer for TOMRA Sorting Digital. I am very glad to welcome you to this webinar about the return you can get from working with digital sorting data. With TOMRA Insight, our digital sorting data service, we aim to enable our customers to use their TOMRA sorters to their full potential, improving the economy and ecology of their business. But we understand, of course, that you might have a lot of questions towards the road of digitalization of sorting, which is hopefully something we can address. This is why in today's webinar, we look forward to making you acquainted with some of the main reasons why a sorting data service such as TOMRA Insight isn't just a smart idea, it's also a smart business. Some of my colleagues from TOMRA's dedicated digital team will explain what TOMRA Insight is, how you can start working with your own customized dashboard, what kind of data you will be able to consult, and last but not least, which benefits you can get out of it to improve your bottom line. Before we get started, allow me to point out that we will take the time to answer any question you might have at the end of the webinar. You can already now type them in the chat window and press send. This window will remain available during the entire presentation, so you can send your questions at any time. Should you not see the chat window at the moment, then you can click Show Control Panel, which is a white arrow placed on a red background, and it should be the first icon you see in your webcast system navigation. So as I mentioned, we will come back to all the topics you want to know more about when the last speaker has finished. And the most pertinent questions and answers will be shared with you afterwards, together with a full recording of this webinar. But first things first, as the first speaker, I am happy to give the floor to Felix Fleming.
Well, thank you, Tina, for introducing today's topics and hosting this session. Good morning also from my side, good afternoon and good evening, wherever you are in this world today. I'm Felix Fleming, Senior Vice President and Head of Digital at TOMRA Sorting. I lead TOMRA's global digitalization team, and as such, I'm also responsible for the development and rollout of our digital services for our customers in the food, recycling, and mining industry. I'm really pleased to see that we have people from all of these three business streams attending this session. While the specific applications for sure differ, all of you are sorting and separating different materials and products in our operations, in your operations. Whether it's blueberries, oranges, potatoes, salad, packaging materials, shredded cars, minerals, or diamonds, you name it. We see very similar challenges in the sorting process. Challenges that we can address by building a data and service platform, such as TOMRA Insight. As Tina already mentioned, before we start talking about the return you create through working with such digital platform like TOMRA Insight, let's start by having a look at what it is exactly. To put it very simply, TOMRA Insight is a secured cloud-based service that allows our customers to look at how their sorters are running. Instead of having a look at the snapshots of the performance on each machine's individual screen or on the process control system for the whole plant, you can now access a web-based dashboard on which you are presented with an overview of your sorters across lines or plants from any desktop or mobile device. You can also integrate this data directly into other systems you use for managing your business, for example, an ERP system. TOMRA Insight users can pull information from the sorters so they know what is going on and why. You can imagine the possibilities this creates. Optimization of the process and sorting performance by analyzing data such as throughput, grade, material, and size distribution, acceptance versus rejection rates, and so on, helping you to understand what your machines are doing. A better follow-up of the entire process with customized reports and alarms. Easier maintenance management with proactive condition-based service options. And a closer collaboration with our service and support engineers, because we can also log into the system and together look at what's going on, even remotely. This has been especially interesting in these challenging times we all face for almost 2 years by now. But how does this work? How can you turn your sorters into valuable data generating machines? The good news is you can benefit from digital sorting data with a minimal impact on your company's IT resources. Because TOMRA Insight is fully cloud and web-based, there are no applications to install, no servers to maintain. All you need is our connector cabinet, some wiring, and a stable internet connection. The central connector cabinet brings your sorters online. This connector cabinet is a piece of hardware that is installed locally in your plant and connected to your sorting equipment via Ethernet cables. It collects the data from your sorters and connects them to the cloud backend through a tightly secured gateway. Here, TOMRA Insight stores and processes the data coming from your sorters. All data is visualized in a monitoring and reporting system. The portal itself can be accessed through a simple web browser. This means that it is available on any device connected to the internet, so you and your team can enjoy the comfort of working with your sorting data anywhere, anytime, on a desktop computer or a mobile device. Almost endless possibilities right at your fingertips. In a, thanks to Tina, easy to use and intuitive interface. I could go on about this for hours, but I really know our time is here limited. So for now, back to you, Tina.
Thanks a lot, Felix, for this introduction to TOMRA Insight. Now let's have a look at what kind of data are available in the TOMRA Insight sorting dashboard. To talk about this topic, I would like to introduce Johannes Jacobi to you. He is our digital product manager for recycling.
There I am. Hi everyone, also from my side as representative of TOMRA Recycling in this webcast, welcome. As Tina already mentioned, my name is Johannes Jacobi, and in TOMRA's digital team, I'm responsible for the recycling stream to make sure that we take care of our customers' needs and pains. In my daily work, I stay in touch with our connected customers, as well as those who want to be connected in the future. So I work on aligning the customer needs and pains with our development to ensure that we find these new possibilities to use data that is available on our machines, to not just empower you for best sorting performance, but also ensure that you use these machines data-driven to its best potential. So I also support the internal service teams to support you in a better way, to support you with all their knowledge on our machines in the best way possible there. Felix has summarized some of the possibilities TOMRA Insight offers. To keep its promise of enabling one comprehensive overview of all information, metrics, and statistics related to your operation, TOMRA Insight combines, processes, and visualizes different sources of data. And we currently focus on the sources of data within our machines. And there, we'd like to mention two sources, or we separate two sources. It's called data at rest and data in motion. Let's first talk about data linked to the machine itself, such as manuals, service reports, or anything else that is not dynamic and doesn't need real-time updates and follow-ups. We call this data at rest because it remains relatively stable. The benefits of this machine data at rest is quite self-explanatory, as you can simply have access to all this information in one digital place and not just print it out somewhere in your cabinet. So you can search and use Control F to find the information that you'd like. Moving to the actual near-life operating data in motion, things get really interesting. I'm sure you can imagine that with near-life information from your sorters into digital performance dashboard in your hands, a digital sorting data solution becomes a powerful reporting and decision-making tool. So you don't have to rely on your gut feeling or the gut feeling of your colleague and the view that you have while you're in a plant, but can consult the data that's generated by our machines. And with that, ensure a data-driven operation, not just of what you see right now, but also historical data by comparing today's operation to last week's, knowing that the same material came in, but is it really sorting the same, and can you ensure that the right quality is coming out? To get a good understanding of what's possible, we'll identify 4 categories of the process data. For starters, the material composition. So this visualizes what the machine sees. So we base everything on the machine vision that our machines are using. And the different business streams have different sensors, but it all is combined to have a view on what the machine sees. These graphs allow you, for instance, to monitor the input material composition, the indicated purity level, and detected defects, and so on. Working with these metrics, you have a better understanding of the nature and quality of the incoming material, as seen by the machine, which can be used for quality monitoring, optimizing of your processes, etc. But first of all, having this data and transparency is the key there. Second, material distribution, and how this is the second main data source or data category is visualizing how the material is spread across the belt. And not just how the material is spread across the belt, but also how the valve activity is spread across the belt or the machine. These metrics are an excellent tool to monitor whether your machine and processes are fed ideally. If the material is not spread out evenly, you have an overlap of material, and our sensors usually look from, or mostly look from the top, and our valves shoot from the bottom. So you might not see everything if you look from the top, and if you shoot from the bottom, you might oversort. Additionally, if you have the material more on one side, you have an overusage of specific valves there that are needed for the sorting result. So this information can be used to ensure that the machine is fed correctly and to monitor the mechanical pre-sorting steps or the mechanical steps ahead of the optical sorters to ensure right feeding. Additionally, it's also about dirt on the belt. So if there's more dirt on the belt building up and the machine detects all that, this all has an impact on your sorting, and with that you have an easy view on it. Now, the actual sorting statistics, let's call this category 3, show the calculated sorting fractions. So how are these material data that is generated linked to specific streams that are ejected or dropped? With this information, we can, for instance, monitor trends in incoming fraction and the sorting fractions coming in. And we can also monitor changes over time. So how does the amount of ejected material change over time? Can we link this to a specific customer or a specific incoming batch? And when used right, these statistics can become a powerful tool for quality monitoring, quality management, in combination with the other statistics as well. They can also help match product characteristics to a specific customer and their requirements to ensure that you provide the right quality to a customer. Or they can even be used to steer downstream processes such as bioproduction, washing, or packing lines. Now, last but not least, we have the data related to machine health. Since a sorter is not just generating data about the material that's going through or in a sorting, but it's also generating data and information about its own operational status, its own condition and availability. Collected data such as vibration, temperature, or lamp intensity or light intensity, combined with existing machine alarms and warnings, allows to monitor the health of the machine. This can then be linked to the output of the machine to ensure that it's operating correctly and what impact a specific measurement has on the overall sorting performance. Ultimately, it should be used to predict a failure of one specific part, for example, a valve or a lamp, or the entire machine if possible. In most cases, the ability to anticipate when something goes wrong can prevent unnecessary waste of not well sorted product or downtime in the worst case. All this information is processed by TOMRA Insight into visualized graphs, reports, notifications, and comparisons. The system provides pre-configured reports linked to specific time slots, for example, last 24 hours, last 7 days, but you can also work with shifts, select specific machines or full lines or plants. But you're not just left with the pre-configured reports. The system also allows you to customize the metrics, to configure your own reports with statistics that suit your specific needs, that provide you the answers to your questions. And then features such as batch reporting to have an information for one specific batch coming in, and weight conversion from area to mass are fine examples that have been recently included in TOMRA Insight and currently in the verification phase. To further work with the data, TOMRA Insight offers several functionalities, such as the option to export sets of data to PDF, to share it with colleagues, or spreadsheets in a typical Excel file or CSV file for further processing and analysis. And then if you have your own dashboards built on Power BI or other advanced IT third-party systems, you can also connect to the data in a TOMRA Insight through a RESTful API, which is a typical industry standard IT protocol, which we also support. Now, I'll go back to the reports, the actual TOMRA Insight interface. To make it even easier, you can schedule these reports. You can define that you want to receive a certain report that you've built up every shift, day, or week, whatever fits you best, for a specific machine or full plant or one line. You can schedule this report to be sent to yourself or possibly also your colleague or your customer if you want to share quality information, or your supplier, depending on what suits you best. So this way you can automatically provide a specific data set to your colleagues in the quality department or your end customer, but another set to business department, depending on the incoming quality or something else. As you can see, transparency, ease of use, and collaboration are all at the very heart of TOMRA Insight and what we daily do. And I happen to know that this is something you also care deeply about, don't you, Tina?
Absolutely, Johannes. And thank you so much for your explanation about this huge amount of available data. Now, allow me to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that you can ask questions you may have for Johannes or Felix at any time during the chat window. Just type in your question and press send, and we will get back to the topics at the end of the webinar. But at this point, we also have a question for you that you can answer in the live poll on the screen. So based on the information you got so far, where do you see the biggest benefit for a solution such as TOMRA Insight? Is it the possibility to reduce downtime, the possibility to increase your throughput, the possibility to reduce cost, or is it the possibility to improve your quality? Please indicate your answer in the live poll within the next 10 seconds. And we have 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. And the poll is closed. Now let's have a look at the answers. Interesting to see that a clear majority of you sees TOMRA Insight as a valuable tool to increase the quality. So let's dive in a bit deeper into this topic and find out what all these real benefits are in practice. So Jeffrey Stevens, our product manager digital for the processed food industry, will tell you more about the specific wins you will get out of working with our digital sorting services and illustrate them with some real life examples. Jeffrey, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tina. And also, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome from my side, wherever you are in the world. I'm more than happy to elaborate on what has been told before. Just like Johannes does for the recycling customers, my role within TOMRA is to be the link between the digital service development team and our customers in the processed food industry. And this role has given me a lot of opportunity to see what digital sorting data can actually contribute to the food processor's operation. Let me start by saying that the first thing you will win with TOMRA Insight is time. Because instead of chasing the information you need, the information will be coming to you automatically. But this is of course only the tip of the iceberg. What I would really like to talk about are 5 different kind of benefits or returns, if you will, you can get out by working with TOMRA Insight. Number 1, you can improve your operational efficiency and productivity. Number 2, you can improve your product quality, which has been highlighted as one of the most important topics that you expect from us. Number 3, you can save time and money on technical maintenance. Number 4, you will be able to get even better and quicker service and support from TOMRA. And number 5, last but not least, you will get even happier people in your workplace, in your team. I will try to clarify every one of these wins with you with some very practical examples. Most of these examples will of course come from my personal experience with our customers in the food industry, but I'm confident that they will be just as recognizable for you working in recycling or mining companies. So let's start with number 1, improving your operational efficiency and productivity. The connection between your sorting line and our cloud system enables a more proactive way of working and collaboration. As everyone involved in the production process benefits from remote access to documented operating hours, system settings, notifications, and so on, the data system will allow for 4 improvements. 1, transparent communication on the status and the performance of the machines and the production line as a whole. Number 2, fact-based strategic and operational decision-making, so your team can work better together as a team and take decisions based on data and not on perceptions or experience. Number 3, improve personal efficiency, so each individual team member can do his or her job better every day. And number 4, improve performance of your whole production line, so you can earn more profit with the same volume that you're processing now. Let me give you 2 examples to clarify. First, imagine a process manager discovering in the TOMRA Insight load report that when he optimizes the sorter's in-feed, he can squeeze 1 more ton of product per hour over the sorter without impacting the sorting quality. I will let you do the math yourself. Just multiply 1 ton with your average number of operating hours per week, and you will probably get an impressive total efficiency and productivity gain. Second example, let's say a regional manager, operations manager, calls his plant managers and process engineers from multiple factories together to share and discuss best practices. In the TOMRA Insight report, it shows that one of the plant produces significantly more with a better yield. They can investigate together, and this information can now lead to the implementation of that plant's ideas in other production plants. Time for win number 2, improving product quality. You will be very interested in this one. Typically, following up and reporting on product quality is based on on-site observations, laborious manual samplings, which I have been doing a lot myself, and time-consuming reporting and communication. In other words, you rely on your staff, visual inspection, and on their experience and accuracy to interpret what they see and to report on it. With TOMRA Insight, all the information is automatically available on any computer or mobile device minute per minute. Instead of manual sampling and quality sampling every 30 minutes or every hour or per container, you can now get a constant feedback of information based on the continuous product sampling on every object, every French fry, every bell pepper, every potato, every nut, done by the sorter itself. And by keeping a close eye on these data, you can take decisions based on facts. You can react faster, and you can thereby improve product quality immediately. Instead of basing quality control on snapshots at certain moments in time, TOMRA Insight allows you to be in control all of the time. Again, let me give you 2 examples. First one, 2 minutes after the production line starts, a purchasing manager checks the TOMRA Insight quality report. And he sees that in this batch, there is 84% good products and 16% defects that are being kicked out by the sorter. Suppose this is not in line with the agreed quality delivered by the supplier, and that the supplier promised around 5% defects in the batch and not 16. In that case, the purchasing manager can work together with the grower to identify which defects were found, for example, brown, rot, unripe product, too many pieces of plastic, metal cans, pieces of wood, etc., and how to improve the quality of the next batches. A second example. The quality manager checks the charts with the incoming defect flow and the ejected defect flow. If they both are consistent and stable, he is assured that this packaged product's quality will be within the customer's quality specifications. When TOMRA Insight shows a sudden peak in the defect detections, the quality manager can quickly check the quality of the accept stream. This will reduce the amount of rework, customer quality complaints, and callbacks. You can investigate in your own organization how many batches you currently rework, how many quality complaints or callbacks you have, and how much money TOMRA Insight would or could save you if you would be able to reduce that rework or customer complaints or callbacks with even only one instance per week or per month. Let's move to win number 3, saving time and money on technical maintenance. With TOMRA Insight, you know what your sorter is doing at any given time. Is it running? Are some components getting to the end of their lifetime and do they need to be replaced? Are you feeding undersized or oversized material? Is the machine sending out error messages and does TOMRA Field Service Engineer need to intervene to solve a technical problem at the machine? Is there dirt on the windows and does your cleaning responsible need to intervene and clean to optimize the sorting again? The digital dashboard captures and visualizes a wide variety of valuable performance metrics. Downtime can be reduced by monitoring machine health and performance in near real time, identifying gaps in production and analyzing potential root causes. Maintenance management is made easier by moving to condition-based maintenance and even predictive maintenance, and by preventing unscheduled machine shutdowns. What most of our connected customers appreciate is the ability for your staff to solve issues quicker, thanks to a better overview of alarms and warnings. And TOMRA service engineers can remotely log into the sorter, remotely assess what the problem is and how to fix it, and without traveling and coming on site, try to fix the problem. Additionally, collecting and analyzing process data over a longer time window enables us to predict and prevent future failure. Technical teams who have been working with TOMRA Insight for a while tell us that they now have a better understanding of the process and can now easily identify root causes or abnormal behavior, breakdowns, and blockages. As you know by now, I like to back this up with a practical example. Imagine, around 5 p.m., a plant manager gets a notification on his smartphone, signaling that the defect rate on the sorter jumped from an average of 2% to almost 11%, and that the 11% would be abnormally high for this batch or for the time of the season. By diving into the live data, 4 potential root causes can be investigated. Root cause 1, did an operator make a wrong setting adjustment to the sorter? If so, then the setting can be corrected immediately and additional operator training can be provided so he does not make the same mistake again in the future. Root cause 2, was there a false detection caused by dirt on the sorting window? If so, a quick clean solves the problem and brings the sorting back to the normal levels. Root cause 3, is there a problem in the production line upstream, like a broken knife on the cutter, a washing installation that does not work well, a fryer that has a too high temperature, or a peeler that is not peeling long enough, or any other problem? These problems can be detected and solved on those machines then much faster. Root cause number 4, was there a real defect peak in the incoming product stream? A quick check of the reject bin and the quality of the accept stream can help you to validate that the sorter did its job correctly by shooting out all the defects. You can also investigate this further with the supplier or the upstream process based on undisputable data. And this brings us already to win number 4, a better service and support by TOMRA. As TOMRA Insight is accessible on any device with an internet connection, it facilitates smoother collaboration and communication. When an operator encounters an issue on the sorting floor, he can easily consult a remote TOMRA support engineer who is then looking at the same up-to-date information on his screen. An example of how this can help. Let's say your shift manager needs to set up the sorters for a new type of crop from a new supplier, and his expert operator is at home on vacation or on sick leave. The shift manager can then call TOMRA Help Desk or TOMRA Service Engineer, who can use his laptop computer to set up a secured connection to the sorter and helps the shift manager to set up a new sorting program. Within an hour, the sorter can be ready for the new crop and production can start. Last but not least, let's talk about win number 5, maybe the most surprising but a very important one: happier people on the work floor. While we have now said a lot about the possibilities of digital sorting data in terms of operational optimization, efficiency gains, and cost savings, we should not forget about the human benefits of it all. At a quick glance, there are 3 of them. The first human benefit is less time loss. Typically, you and your team, you walk through the production hall and periodically you check the metrics on the screen of the machine. With TOMRA Insight, all of this information is available automatically on any computer or mobile device. At the same time, operators can be where they need to be, instead of going back and forward between the sorting lines and the control room. They receive all relevant information, such as warnings and alarms and sorting performance on the phone, the mobile, or the tablet. Another example, if you have a forklift driver in your production plant, you could mount a tablet on the dashboard so he or she can see what the sorters are doing minute per minute without stepping down from the forklift. Second human benefit is more satisfaction. Near-live metrics help to take control of product quality and to use every sorter and the whole production line at the optimal capacity. And this allows sorting teams to take pride in achieving important goals and benchmarks, such as productivity targets per shift and meeting the quality requirements of your customers. The third human benefit is less repetitive tasks. A digital system that automatically pulls data from your sorters and makes it accessible in the dashboard significantly reduces the need for many repetitive, time-consuming and straining tasks. You can also imagine to combine the data from your insight with your manual sampling to check on the product quality. To sum it up, I truly believe, together with customers already TOMRA Insight, that advanced digital sorting data services such as TOMRA Insight enable companies to get a tighter grasp on various aspects that impact efficiency, productivity and quality along the production line and the value chain. The ability to stay in control all the time, to take quicker actions when issues arise, and to build a stronger communication and collaboration across people, teams, departments, suppliers, and customers is a big step forward in establishing efficient and innovative management practices. Speaking of efficiency, I think I just managed to stay within a time slot, so quickly back to you, Tina.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey, and nicely timed. So although Jeffrey is mostly in touch with our customers in food companies, I'm sure that his examples were useful clarification to most of you. So I can imagine there was quite a lot of information to take in and that some of you might have some questions. So let's have a look at the questions that are coming in and ask Felix, Johannes and Jeffrey to answer them for you. So first, I would like, there is a few questions around whether we are sharing the recording and the presentation. And yes, we will share the recording and some of the Q&As afterwards. So you can share them to your colleagues, or if you have to leave early, that is no problem. The next question. So there is a few questions around whether your data is protected and whether it can be hacked. So Felix, is that something you would like to answer?
Yeah, I can take that one for sure. And I think it's a perfect question these times where probably some of us follow the news quite heavily around the Log4j vulnerability that popped up on Friday. So I can assure you the data is safe. We put a lot of effort into designing and implementing this system around data privacy and cybersecurity. So it is actually cybersecurity by design. It's not an afterthought. We integrate that into everything we do from the beginning on. We do work with very closely with leading technology partners on the cloud side. That is actually Microsoft. And we also respect any of the privacy requirements under GDPR and so on and so forth. So we really lock the data in behind secure walls. And to be coming back to that Log4j vulnerability, we started actually with the team to check into this as of Friday evening when it made the news in the first place. And over the weekend, it was assessed. And currently, we can be assured that our systems are actually not affected by it. But we still obviously stay highly alert and continuously monitor the situation quite closely. So yes, the data is safe. Can it be hacked? I think there's always the possibility. There's never 100% security, but we also all trust our banking application and our online banking systems. And I think it's a matter of trust and it's a matter of technical measures to put in place. And that we do for sure.
Thank you, Felix. Another question, how are benchmarks determined? Johannes, will you answer that?
Sure, let me take that after I mentioned it as well. So benchmarks are generated with our customers together, and our experience in the industries. So it combines the different quantifiable information, and yeah, it's a great question because we don't have set up these benchmarks yet, but this is our plan on doing it. So we provide our expertise there with combining all the machines that we have in the field. But to make one thing clear, we will never share any data of different customers across customers. You will not be able to link back that you're better than your neighboring factory. So any benchmark that we provide will be anonymized, and there's no tracing back possible.
Thank you. Then we have a few questions about Holy Grail. So has the software been developed with a view to integrating data with Holy Grail 2.0? And what about of data exchange with systems like Holy Grail 2.0 or R-Cycle to improve the sorting quality further? Felix, is that something you?
Yeah, I think I will take that as well. I would rephrase it a little bit. The system has been designed and built to integrate data into other systems as well. So there is APIs and interface layers, which we today already use with some of our customers. And in that context, I would say it's also feasible to connect into a Holy Grail world or to connect into an R-Cycle world and to make sure data flows. Has it been designed explicitly for that purpose? Actually, I have to say no. We designed it with a wider purpose to make data accessible for our customers, regardless of what specific system it is in the end. I hope that answered that question, Tina.
Yeah, thank you. Next question. Thank you for a great presentation. You're welcome. One question regarding data input. Where do the data come from, for example, with respect to material composition? Johannes, maybe.
Okay, I take that as well. The provided data is based on the scanners of our machines. So the scanners are analyzing the input material before we take a decision on the sorting. So the following question would then probably be, what about the output? I want to know something more about the output because I want to know the quality of the product. So there are different approaches that you could think of. In some of our business streams, especially in our recycling business stream, we have a cascade of machines. So we aim at using the following machine or the following two machines on eject and drop to provide information on the quality of the previous sorting step. And another possibility is to predict how good the quality is. So in this cascade, we can work on training the machines to predict how good the quality is at the end. And a third option is adding additional sensors and analyzers, which is also an option, but from our point of view, that's the most expensive one, adding additional hardware. So we focus more on using the existing sensors that we have and predicting the outcome.
Thank you, Johannes. Then we have a few questions around ownership of data and managing the data. Is there someone who would like to answer that one?
Maybe I'll take that one as well. And then we also make sure that Jeffrey gets some questions. I think it's related to him being the third one giving a presentation, that probably questions were raised by the previous parts. I really like that question about the ownership of data. And I think there was also a question on the expertise in managing the data passing from the company towards TOMRA. So maybe a very clear first statement. The data that is produced by the machines on the product and in the process, so the classified material, what is going through your process, that data is, in our opinion, our customers' data. So actually your data. All we ask you for is the right to actually process that data through our system and actually enhance it, to add value to it with our knowledge and with our experience. So in that sense, yes, we manage this data coming from the sorter, going through the cloud into the dashboard or through the API back into your system. So we process it and pass it there, but it remains your data. So if you do not allow us to do so, we won't do it. That's a very clear statement. That I think is all I would have to say for this. it's not about your data, our data. It is your customers' data, and you, our customers, decide what happens with it. We truly believe that we can add value to that data with our expertise and with our background, and that's where I think the benefits come of such a system in the end.
And possibly adding to this, we're only collecting what we're allowed to. So you as a customer must allow us to connect these machines to our solution. And there we've currently focused on our own equipment, but you can also think that additional equipment and interfaces to mechanical machines need to be adopted. And there we also are working on generic protocols. But our goal is not to collect data and sit on a pile of interesting customer data, but the target is to empower you to better use our machines. And we leave it up to you if you want to process all the data, or we provide you with our expertise and our solution there. But in the end, we aim at the same target to have a better solution in your and better process on your side. But we think that we need to provide a scalable solution to you to share our expertise.
Thank you. Then we have other few related questions. So in an MRF, have you evaluated the level of confidence or margin of error of the conversion between objects or surface and weight? How does it compare to manual characterization? And there's also one, how does TOMRA Insight interface with other machine sensors and systems used in an MRF?
There are two different questions. I would take the first one and then link to Jeffrey to let him talk on his take in the food sector as well. So the confidence or margin of error on the conversion from object or surface to weight. It's a great and difficult question at the same time. So it's all based on manual characterizations, on taking manual samples and measuring the weight of a specific area or linking a specific weight to an area or object count. So thus the result really depends on the quantity and quality of these samples. And there we are looking at the power of larger numbers. So you take a feasible large example several times and have a better overview. However, in the recycling industry with very dynamic, changing, heterogeneous material, it's hard to tell how good it is. We have examples where we achieved position or deviation of 2 to 3% for that time period, but that can change with the next incoming material as well. And Jeffrey, I think you have experience on that as well.
Yeah, maybe I can add to that. I can give an example of a potato processor. They were running a batch of 1 ton. What we did, we took a sample of 20 kilogram. We put that through the machine. The machine told us how many objects it was seeing and how many pixels it was seeing. And then we enter in TOMRA Insight some kind of a conversion factor from objects or pixels to weight. And in the machine, then TOMRA Insight starts to process that data and gave an accuracy of plus or minus 5%. So when the real number was, let's say, 1 ton, the TOMRA Insight number coming out was 50 kilograms, more or less. Now that works if you have products that are relatively similar in size. If you have products that are varying a lot in size, then we need to go to step 2, which is where we need to take the size of an object. As a bigger sized object has a bigger weight in density, and a smaller size object then has a lower weight. That is not yet available, that is on the roadmap, so we're looking into that, but step 1 is already available. So if you have products that are relatively stable in size or have a variation, but the variation is relatively limited, then we can give you, like Johanna said, 2%, 3% variation, or what I have seen in the food industry, plus or minus 5%. So it's not an exact calibrated number, but it gives you a better indication whether you're processing 50 kilogram, 150 kilogram, or 1.5 ton, basically, which is already good enough for a lot of companies I work with.
But we also see deviations of 10, 20, or 50%, depending on the number of samples.
Yeah, and the variation of the size of the objects through the sample. Yeah.
Must be honest there.
Yeah, totally agree. For example, if you run a batch in the morning with small objects and another batch in the afternoon with big objects, it would be wise to give those two batches a different conversion number, so that the small objects have a low weight and that the big objects have a bigger weight. And then you will get again to the realistic number. But that is kind of advice we try to help to give you when you start the pilot. Many customers have lots of questions when they start trying the system. So we then step in with our experience, our ideas, our advice to make the most out of the current system. And on top of that, we also, I don't know whether we mentioned it, every 3 weeks we release new functionalities. So depending on the discussions we have with customers that are currently using the platform, we listen to what problems they run into, what challenges they have, what kind of additional metrics they would appreciate that we can develop, or additional features. And then we put those requests in our roadmap and we try to develop those features according to the different priorities we get. And then everybody that's using the platform gets then automatically the access to all these new features every 3 weeks.
So Albert, if you talk off, I forgot the other question.
Well, I must say we're receiving so many amazing questions, so I'm afraid we won't have time to answer all of them today. Anyway, Johannes, but maybe we will do a bit of roundup and then maybe answer them in the follow-up, or maybe that's the topic for the next webinar. But let's do a few more questions. So in which languages is TOMRA Insight available? Jeffrey, is that something you can talk about as well?
It's a great question, and I discuss it with every customer all over the world. It's available in 130 languages. Basically, we designed TOMRA Insight in such a way that Google Chrome has a built-in feature that can translate websites into different languages. And we try to build it in such a way that just by clicking on the button which language you want, whether it's German or Persian or Korean or Japanese or Russian or Portuguese or Spanish or Dutch, it's available in all these languages just clicking on the button. So every operator can look at the data in his own languages. So imagine you have a plant in Europe and you have people coming from different countries during a season, and they speak different languages. They can just put their own dashboard in their own language. So everybody looks at the same data, but in their own language. So that also enables people to work better in a team because there is less risk on misunderstanding each other.
And it actually links, Jeffrey, to the happier people topic, right? Sometimes these translations really cause joy. PET, as one of the common examples for material in recycling, is then translated as the pet, like your cat or your dog you have at home. So that also contributes to the joy factor of using TOMRA Insight sometimes. But in general, it works really well nowadays. Yeah.
Thank you. So I think the last question that we have time for today is, how can I sign up for TOMRA Insight?
Shall I take
Jeffrey,
that?
you want to take that? Sure.
Yes. Basically, it's very easy. We offer some kind of a 3-month trial package to customers that want to try it. So what you do is you buy the trial package. In the trial package, you have one connector cabinet, which you can install in one of your production plants. And then you can link up to 20 sorters in that production plant. We can add more sorters, but then that's too technical discussion. In that package, there is also the activation of your account. We do a training, we do monthly reviews, we discuss with you, we go together in your data, together with your team. So we can observe what comes out of the sorter, how can we interpret the data, what kind of improvements can we find on short term or medium term or long term. So we help you during those 3 months to get value out of TOMRA Insight and to learn how to work with it and to evaluate it. And then at the end of the 3 months, you can decide whether you subscribe or continue with a subscription, or whether you just simply stop. And if customers are interested, can just contact the service sales team, or the sales responsible of your country, of your company, and they will be happy to make a proposal for that kind of 3-month trial. You have to take into account, as soon as you order your trial, we need approximately 2 to 4 or 3 to 5 weeks to get the connector cabinet shipped and to get it in your production plant. And then the week after, we can install it, link all the sorters, get the data flowing. So you need to take 6 to 7 weeks to get you up and running. It can be shorter, but I don't like to overpromise. And it's just plug and play. As soon as we connect the cable, all the data flows in and reports are ready. And we then also help you to set those up, so you can immediately start a few days later. So there's no integration needed, no development, no IT resources required. Just plug the cables and play.
Maybe some IT support.
There is some work together with the IT people to open a few firewall ports. Yeah, that is correct. So that the data flows through the firewall ports through the internet. For the companies, and we have those cases, for the companies that do not have a stable internet connection or that don't like to open a few firewall ports so that the data can get through, we also have a 4G SIM chip available. So we can just plug in a SIM chip that is tested and validated. That works all over the world, wherever you are. And we also have 4G data packages available. How much 4G data you need per year depends on how many hours and days you operate a sorter and how many sorters you operate in your production plant. But we can estimate that together. And whether you buy that data package via TOMRA or you just take a local subscription as you prefer. That's all available.
Thank you so much. And unfortunately, I think that's all the questions that we have time for today. So it only remains for me to thank you all very much for attending our webcast. And I hope that everyone has managed to take away a lot of useful information and inspiration about the possibilities of digital sorting data services, and more specifically, TOMRA Insight. And of course, a big thanks to all our speakers, Felix, Johannes, and Jeffrey, for sharing their views.
Welcome. Have a
Good
nice day.
afternoon. Bye.
One more thing. On behalf of the team here at TOMRA, I would like to ask you to fill out a short survey with 4 questions that will help us evaluate and improve our webcast. Your opinion truly matters to us. So yeah, thanks again for joining us today. And as mentioned, we will share the full recording together with the Q&A very soon. And if you have any questions in the meantime, you can always reach out to us to hear about how you get started with TOMRA Insight. So have a nice day, evening, afternoon, everyone, and see you again next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.